Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans for Tuesday, June 18th. It's my brother's birthday today. I bet we have lots of other June birthdays and fun events people are celebrating. June's always a big celebratory month. With me today, I have the fabulous Laura Biewer. Laura, introduce yourself to everyone.
Well, hello, everyone. For those who might not know me, I am Laura of Coach Me, Laura, and I help notaries build their own confidence and competence at being a notary. And I do that in many ways. I have video libraries for you to look through for your state laws or for specialty work. I've co-authored a book on specialty work called Beyond Loan Signings. And on occasion, I do something in person, such as speak at notary events. And I'm doing my own event. And that event is July 20th. And it is an inspector of elections mock election. I did a webinar on inspector of elections, but the feedback I got was that it's still difficult to understand it. They really needed to do more hands-on. And so this is a hands-on. When you register, you get a ballot. You're going to be part of the election. We're going to do a tabulation. We're going to do reporting. You're going to have templates for everything. We're going to have the statutes and look at that. And I'm going to have property management representative to talk to us about the relationship between yourself as an inspector and the board and the property management company. So it's going to be pretty exciting. July 20th in Modesto, California. It is California centric, meaning I'm going to use California laws. So if you're in another state, this isn't really for you. You really want to be California. Okay.
Awesome,
Great.
Laura. Thank you. I know there's a lot of people that are signed up for that are really looking forward to that presentation, the Inspector of Elections that you're doing in Modesto. And remind us again, that's
July 20th, and I have limited seating because it's a building. So once I hit my number, there is no more seats to be had.
Yeah. So the information's in the chat for all of our California notaries if you are interested. My name is Jen Neitzel. I'm the creator of marketingfornotaries.com. And I am so happy that you guys are here today. You know how this call works, unless, of course, this is your first time. If it is, welcome. This is kind of like an old-fashioned call-in radio show. We are here to answer your notary-specific questions. If you have a question for us, please just raise your virtual hand. You can find that by going to the bottom of your Zoom screen and clicking on either reactions, and you'll find the raise hand function there, or you can go over to the word more, and there's three little dots there. Click on that, and you should find the raised hand function there as well. So it'll be one of those two spots. Please go ahead now and get yourself in line if you have any questions. I'm going to go over a few announcements first while you guys are getting yourself together and getting those questions out. The first thing, and this is exciting, we have a new feature on TNT. When you visit notarycoach.com/TNT to sign up for this call, we now have a form that will enable you to ask a question on the form. You know, some afternoons you guys get quiet on us, and we thought it would be a great idea to have some questions ready to answer. Now, let me stress to you, this form is not for at the table, I need an answer right now questions. There's no guarantee when you submit a question that we're even going to get to it and get it answered. But we would love to have a database full of questions to go to on those afternoons when you guys aren't feeling super chatty. So that's a really exciting new feature. You can find the link in the chat and submit your questions there. Raise your hands now if you guys have any questions for Laura and I. And while you're doing that, I want to talk about a few things that are happening in the notary world that you need to know about. The first one is when you are part of this call, the Tuesday Notary Titan call, I know it can be really tempting to see all the notaries from around the country in the on the call, but It doesn't mean you can just blindly advertise to them. We've instated a new rule that you have to be a part of the innovator spotlight to advertise your business on this weekly TNT call. If that is something that you are interested in, Jen Cooper is going to put some links in the chat for you to check out the innovator spotlight. We have an innovator today on the call that we're going to be bringing up in a bit, who is part of this innovator spotlight. And I am really excited for you guys to get to learn what he's going to be talking to you about in just a few minutes. There is a clubhouse happening tonight. That clubhouse is called the Notary, or A, is it or the? Laura, help me out.
A Notary.
Notary's Successful Journey. Laura and Sue Hope and Matt Miller host this clubhouse. You can find it at 5 p.m. Pacific time. That's 5 p.m. Pacific on Clubhouse, A Notary's Successful Journey. Tonight's special guest is the one and only Bill Soroka, and he's going to be talking all about cannabis. So if you are interested in our cannabis program that relaunched at the National Notary Conference in Orlando, I encourage you to attend that this evening at 5 p.m. Central. It's going to be a really good discussion. And then the next announcement is about happy hour, my favorite hour. Happy hour is happening at the Notary Hotel in Philadelphia. Bill is flying from Seattle out to Philly. He and Judy Lawrence, one of our Notary Business Builder faculty members, are hosting an exclusive happy hour. It's designed for notaries across the Northeast to meet and mingle and forge new, meaningful connections in a sophisticated yet relaxing environment. It sounds absolutely fabulous. The link is in the chat. You must be registered to go. Go ahead and get signed up at that link in the chat. Okay, I saw we have a hand raised. Tanzania, am I saying your name right? Tanzania?
Hi, Jen, it's Tanzania.
Tanzania, sorry. Tell me what
Yeah.
state you're calling from.
California?
Awesome. What is your question for Laura and I today?
Yes. Jen, this is more for Laura since she's in
Sure.
California. Miss Laura, I had a question regarding the home business license here in California. I currently have my notary business as a sole proprietorship, and I don't necessarily want to go the LLC route right now. I more likely want to do the DBA, doing business as, and like the publications and all that. My question to you is, with the home business license, is that something that I have to pay taxes in and register as an LLC, or how does that work?
So, every county could be a little different in California. In my county, I pay $75 a year to have a home-based business permit or license. And that's what I do in Stanislaus County. Now, on top of that, I registered a fictitious business name, which is At Your Service Mobile Notary, with the county. So I did both, and that was a one-time fee. That's good. I think it's 7 years at a time. I have to go back and renew it. So those are the two different things I did.
Okay, so you did do the DBA and the license as well, and those are one-time fees.
Yes.
Okay.
The license is renewable every year.
You said the license is renewable?
Yeah, every year. I pay $75 every year to keep having a home-based business.
Okay. Now, with the DBA, did you have to do the publications for 4 weeks as well?
I did.
Okay. Got it. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you for the question. Anybody else have a question for us this afternoon? You guys are going to be quiet on us again.
Could be.
There's Judy Lawrence. Hi, Judy. She, of course, is calling us from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Judy, you're on mute. Let's see. I tell you what,
I
Judy,
don't know
while
if
you
we
were
can-
looking for that mute button, we're gonna go ahead and go to Marty. Oh, wait, Judy, are you off mute now? Say something.
I have to lower my hand.
There you go. It's okay. We
You
got
have
that.
to
We can
lower
do
your
that.
hand. Anyway, I don't exactly have a question, but I want to share something that happened to me this week because I want everybody to have the benefit of a quick story that happened to me this week. I was asked to do a wedding. It was very businesslike. We're having this many guests and we're doing this and we'd like to pay you to be at the rehearsal dinner and at the wedding. And it was all very nice. I did a contract, they signed a contract. And then they said, he wrote me and he emailed me, they're from Florida. And he emailed me and he said, my boss is feeling very generous and my boss is going to pay your fee and the photographer's fee as a wedding gift. And he said, so we sent one check to you. Yes. And if you could deposit the check and just please pay the photographer. And I said, this don't sound right to me. So
Yeah.
it made me call the wedding venue because it just didn't feel right. It just, why would anybody they sent a check for a few $1,000s and my fee wasn't close to that. And I called the wedding venue and I spoke to them and I know them. And I spoke to them and they said, oh no, there's no such wedding here. We've never heard of those people. And it was a scam.
Oh, yeah.
And if I had not thought quick on my feet, the check probably would have been insufficient funds. And I might have even, if I wasn't quick on my feet, I might have even just, while I was putting the check in, paid the photographer. You never know what you might do if you haven't been out there too long and experienced different things. And I sent it to the Attorney General in Florida, but I just wanted to share that if your gut tells you there's something wrong, there usually is.
Yeah.
And do your little investigation. And I haven't been in the wedding business that long, but I asked Alicia about it and she said it's all over. There's so much scamming. It's unbelievable. So I
That's
just wanted
such a
to share
shame.
that and say, don't, when it comes to money, don't let anyone convince you, oh, just put the check in your bank account and just, write a check for something because it's not going to happen. And it would have been, I'm pretty sure that it would, and they probably have done it before.
Well, I'm sorry
and-
that happened to you, Judy, but
Yeah,
thank
but
goodness.
it's worth sharing. Nothing
Yeah, it's
happened to
definitely
me,
worth sharing, and I appreciate you
but
bringing
I
that to
wanted,
everybody's
especially
attention. And
new notaries.
we just shared about your Philly happy hour coming up.
Yeah.
So the link is in the chat for that too. So I'm so glad you're
exciting.
hanging out
We're
with us
very
this
excited.
afternoon.
Yes.
Thanks,
So
Judy.
I hope that somebody gets the benefit out of what I talked about. And
Absolutely.
just be sure when it comes to money, don't take money that doesn't belong to you.
That's
and make
right.
sure who you're taking it from.
Thanks, Judy. Good advice. Good advice. And what a shame that that happened. Marty Shelton, what is your question for us? Tell us where you're calling from first, Marty.
I'm in Long Beach, California. Hello.
Awesome. Hi.
And so I have some regular customers that call me back frequently, and I'm just checking for protocol. Do I have to see their ID every time when I know that it's not expired and I've already got that information? Can I just skip that process because they're known to me and I've seen it and I've got it in my journal?
Laura?
No, you may never skip that process every time.
Really?
Every time.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Part of being a notary public. Well, listen, guys, since we don't have any hands up, I've been itching to share this information with you. I want to introduce you to our special guest today. He is a notary business builder, and he is featured on our Notary Business Builder Innovator Spotlight. In fact, he's the Innovator of the Month this month. His name is Tony Benson. And Tony has created something called notarycalendar.com. It is a proactive scheduling engine that builds drive time around your appointments on your calendar. So when an end user is booking you, the system will only show your true available time slots that are open. So the system knows how far you're driving and automatically calculates a travel fee based on your desires or your state laws. You just put in how much you charge per mile into your notary calendar profile, and the system auto calculates and displays your travel fee to your clients. This is an amazing, amazing tool for notaries all over the country. And I am so excited to introduce you today to Tony Benson from Seattle, Washington. Hey, Tony, how are you?
I'm great, thanks.
Awesome. Well, we are so glad that you are here today. I'm going to spotlight you really quick. We met, well, I'll let you tell the story where we met. Do you
Oh, at
remember?
the yeah, what was that called? The Pacific Northwest.
Meet and mingle.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I went up there and we had lunch together, and you told me about this amazing calendar you had, and my mouth like dropped open. I was like, wait, you did what?
hmm
So I know I gave a little snapshot about Notary Calendar. So Tony, tell us a little bit about Notary Calendar.
You pretty much nailed it, actually. I mean,
Look at me.
it proactively builds drive time around the appointment. So the time slots that it displays for your clients is your exact availability.
Yeah.
So based on the location they need. So
How did you come up with this idea and this kind of technology?
out of pure frustration. After I
Yeah.
started probably a year or two in, I came out
Yeah.
of an appointment after 45 minutes and had 4 or 5 texts sitting there of all jobs I was available for every single one of them, but I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't respond. I was busy. So I remember just thinking that if I could just show them my calendar and let them fill it, why should I have to respond? It's a
Yeah,
reactive, why not just create something proactive? If it's open, fill it.
exactly.
I'll take it. But
And I
obviously there's an
think,
issue with that. You can't just share people's information publicly.
yeah,
Plus the drive time is a challenge. If you're
yeah,
half hour, 45 minutes away, that's a problem. So
yeah. And I
that's where it
think
started.
you said something to me that really stuck with me when we met for the first time in Seattle, and I think that was in March. Um, a lot of what we do with our scheduling is reactive. Our
Mhm.
scheduling, our rescheduling. And wouldn't it be great? And that's one of the downsides to being a busy, popular mobile notary in your community, right? Is that that scheduling can be very difficult. And so you are literally taking the pain away from that. So how long have you been in the notary business, Tony? When did you get your start?
A little over 7 years now.
So you've got lots of experience with this
Yeah, a little bit,
scheduling
yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I tell new notaries all the time, like, you got to be flexible. You have to be flexible. And this allows you to do that in a way that also gives you a little bit of control. So now, what is your primary business then? And when you, what is your main focus? Or do you focus on lots of different things?
Anything they'll pay me for, basically. No, I mean most of what I've done is real estate loan closings, loan signings. So,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
I shifted when I saw the real estate market slowing down a couple of years ago. I started doing more general notary.
Mhm.
So which is where this thing started. The original intent was to be a signing service with this,
Yeah,
and
I
I
remember
just
you
figured it
telling me that.
was more efficient, could take less of the fee.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, and then notaries could name their own fees, and there was a whole. And then I started that route, and then realized after hiring a couple of notaries that it was just a babysitting gig. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do this. So
Yeah.
shifted gears, started doing more general, started building in the ability to use it for general notary. We just last week got Ron put in there. So
Oh,
we're always adding
cool.
stuff. So
Yeah. So
yeah,
when you say you got Ron put in there, tell me that what does that mean?
so the ability to book for Ron's or anything online, really. And that's the funny thing is that it originally started off with Zoom meetings, thanks to Jennifer Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
She's got all the Zoom meetings on her calendar, and it would throw the system for a loop if it saw a Zoom link in there, right? Because the Zoom link automatically puts in the GPS.
Yeah.
which the system sees Antarctica.
Ah,
It doesn't work.
yeah.
I got a hold of my developer, say, hey, can we get this fixed so that if it sees a Zoom link or anything like this, that it calculates to an address, like a home address, right? Most of us work from a home office.
Hmm.
So he fixed that about a month ago. And then last week we were talking, I think it was Brittany. We were talking about Ron and how she's mostly doing Ron. And then it dawned on me that we could use that address for booking Ron's right there instead of that. So it just makes the address bar. I can show you a little bit, but
Yeah.
so basically
Well,
defaults to my home address for a Ron, which also
nice.
translates into doing consulting, which I won't name the person I was texting with this morning, but I sent the link. I said, hey, we just realized accidentally that this would be good if somebody wants to do a free consultation. So you can just go to my site and book me there since you want to have a chat in a few weeks.
Absolutely. I love
But some
it.
people refer to the old fashioned way and they send a text saying, well, this date and time work. And
But I mean, this is the world we live in, right? Like technology comes out and I mean, Laura and I are constantly complaining like, oh my God, it just feels like everything's new. Every month something new comes out. But this is actually something that is going to allow a notary to take away that manual calculation of doing their work. Now, I know some people might be upset with this because your cat is absolutely a superstar up there behind you. But I'm gonna have you share your screen. We're gonna move away from the cat for a second and and I want you to walk us through and show us how cool this thing is. Let's see, there we go. You should be able to share your screen. There we go.
yeah. Yeah, she is the result of a signing, actually. I was at a lady was selling her house, and when I walked in, she had two big giant Maine Coons sitting there, and
And you
then
walked
from
away from
behind
it.
me as we're signing, I hear this little meow, and it was her. And I was like, oh, she goes, you want her? I go, not really, but how much? You give her a good home, you can have her free. So
Aw.
she likes the heat of that router. So I hemmed and hawed for a couple of days, and then just decided, all right. I texted her. She said, yeah, she's still here. I said, I'll get her. So
Well, she's obviously quite comfortable in your house.
yeah,
She's posing.
she's definitely a hog. She likes to come in and she'll walk in front of my face sometimes too, which gets annoying, but
All right, well, show us Notary Calendar and how this works.
so this is my site. So all somebody has to do is you can either have a floating bubble. There's lots of flexibility, lots of versatility, different ways to set it up and structure it for your own personal situation. But the floating bubble is one thing. Little bottom, the bubble in the right corner says instant quote, and you can change the color, you can change what it says, or you can also code it into the buttons here. Like I said, there's lots of versatility, flexibility. But click on this, it brings up this. You put in an address. I just have a random address I use, validate it. Somebody puts a date in, they need something tomorrow. Maybe it's a purchase. It builds in 60 minutes, so it's telling the time. In fact, Crystal, this will probably possibly answer your summary question. I might come back to it. I saw that. So it's basically going to default to 60 minutes for the appointment, and then hit search. And what this does is goes through my calendar and pulls the time frame from. In fact, let me see if I can do. Should be able to do this. Okay, make sure that you can see that. So it's for the 19th. Whoops. So the first time available is 11:20. So I have these appointments. This is the 19th here. So this appointment ends at, what's that, 9:30?
Mm-hmm.
So it builds, looks like it's about a 45-minute drive time from there. Builds 45 minutes in from the end of that appointment, 10:30 to, I guess it's 50 minutes to 11:20. So the first time available at that location is 11:20, which is about right there. And then I can sign up to 12:15, start up to 12:15. So somebody could book me right at 12:15. It adds 60 minutes to do the appointment. So 1:15 is when I would finish, which gets about there. And that leaves 45 minutes drive time to this 2:00 appointment.
So it factors in the appointment before the scheduler, and after as well, right?
Correct. So this appointment here at 2:00 ends at 2:30. 2:30 to 3:15 is what, 45 minutes? So it builds in 45 minutes of drive time from that appointment that ends at 2:30 up to 3:15.
Wow.
And then up to, well, you see 9:00. And I figured this out accidentally. Most of the stuff was planned, but some of them were just dumb accidents. Like, oh, this is cool. The 9:00 appointment I have that starts at 9 is actually, it's just a default appointment I have every single day. It's just home. It's my home address.
Yeah.
So if I want to be home by 9 o'clock every night, then you could do something like that. And then somebody books it at 7:15. I finish at 8:15. That gives me 45 minutes to drive home from the end of the appointment.
Nice.
So
That
nice
is
little bonus,
so
but
cool. So what happens when you, okay, so like say you click on 3:15 to 7:15. What is, so it just pulls up the start time. Now,
yeah.
is the notary themselves able to manipulate the kind of info that they would like for signers to input?
I guess that
Or
depends
is
on what
that
you mean by
static?
that.
Well, so if they, so you have first name, last name, phone number, email, comments. If they wanted another piece of data, would they be able to add that info, or is it static?
As far as what's on form to fill in,
Yeah, what's
yeah,
already
that
on?
is static. That is static.
Okay,
But here's
but
where it gets
the
fun. Let's say they wanted
fees,
4 o'clock. Go ahead. What?
the fees they can add in, right? Like they can personalize their own fees because those are your personal fees. Obviously, not everyone has a ferry fee on their,
Correct.
they don't live in a cool city like Seattle. So you can, the add-on services, you can manipulate as a notary if you have this calendar.
Correct. Well, let me just
Awesome.
take you there on the, so this is the back end, right? This is my account, my notary calendar account.
Okay.
So profile, fees. So you can come in and specify what type of signings you do, how much you charge. You click the edit services
Oh, look
here.
at that.
This is where you can turn on or turn off. If you don't like reverse mortgages, uncheck the box. Anybody searches for reverse mortgage, they won't show up. You won't show up. I don't do fingerprinting. I don't do wedding officiant. So none of these are checked. This is all, I check or uncheck the services I want to offer. Witnesses. This is one of the nice things. I was going to get to it, but I'll pop it here. If you need witnesses, if you have a network of notaries, you can have witnesses in there as well. And you can hire notary or witnesses right off of here for your jobs.
Nice. Look at all that. This is so exciting. And you even have, do you have trust documents on there? Because we'll need to add that.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Plan
I
packages.
love it.
Yep.
That's incredible, Tony.
Yeah, we
Now,
can add stuff in here. So you get to dictate how much your fees are, exactly
yeah,
how much they go for, depending on what you're doing.
sure. That is so cool. And then what else is under that profile of yours up there?
Oh, there's lots. How much time do we have?
You've got your calendar, you've got referrals. What does that mean?
So that will basically just be a referral link. So it will send you, actually, I probably shouldn't show that. It's got other people's info, but so if you
Yeah.
send that and then somebody signs up for Notary Calendar, it will tag the system that you are the one who sent them to Notary Calendar.
Fantastic. So now this is a very obviously high level view of the notary calendar, and many of you are going to be getting, if any of you are signed up with any of the Notary Coach accounts, you are going to be getting some more detailed information from Bill about this tomorrow. But I'm guessing you guys probably have some questions for Tony. So I'm going to remove that spotlight from him really quick, and then let me
Yeah, I saw a few in the chat.
yeah, so if you guys have questions, I see Mark has his hand up. Mark, go ahead and ask your question. And Tony, would you stop sharing your
Oh, there it is.
screen?
Oh, yeah.
I have a comment to offer, but it's outside Tony's offerings here for this. Great idea, by the way, Tony. I think it's fantastic.
Thank you.
So can I,
Of
do
course.
we let Tony go ahead and finish up and let me come back in a comment? Because what I want to mention to my fellow colleagues here has to do with the BOI.
Okay, so thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Anybody that has a question for Tony? Carol. I was waiting for you, Carol, to pop up. I knew you'd have a question.
Well, I had a discussion with Tony about this, and I think this is just very slick. And one of the questions that I had was, and Tony, you probably haven't had a chance to look at it yet, was talk about Outlook versus Google, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, that's I haven't got a chance to dig into it yet. So but it is built off of Google. So you've got to have either a Gmail or a workspace Google account. So if you're using Outlook, it's not coded for that. So it is specifically to Gmail. But what you can, that's one solution. I think we talked about that, Carol.
Right.
Is having a Gmail and you connect the Gmail to the calendar and then funnel everything into the Gmail calendar, which is what I do. I've got several different calendars, so I just connected them all together so they go into this one Gmail account.
So that was one thing that he's going to look into whether or not Outlook can feed into Google.
Okay.
And so, because I use Outlook, only because I was in corporate America for so long and I know
Right, what you're
Outlook.
used to, yeah.
And so it's just automatic for me to use it, but that doesn't mean that I can't make a change if I want to use it. The other thing that we talked about was, and you mentioned it, we have a group of 4 notaries that are in the area that we use. And if somebody's out, we like this, we're talking about using it as a group so that if somebody, maybe I'm not available, but somebody else in the group is available for that booking.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a great way to set up your referral partners through your website.
Correct.
People, you're still servicing your customer by providing them
Yeah.
with a trusted notary. So, Tony, I just want to get this off the table. How much is it?
It's only $9.99 a month.
That's amazing. And I know that's your just your starting price, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's trying to get the word out about it. So that's an incredible price per month. If you guys have a question for Tony, please raise your virtual hand. Jen Cooper, did you have a Tony question?
Yes, except not really a question, more I'd like him to, there's people here that are Ron and they're asking some wrong questions, but we solved some problems on your last call with Brittany. Is that her name?
Yep.
Okay. Can you talk about how a Ron notary can use this service if they're using another platform like Blue Notary? How it can work together? Because we kind of came up with a system. Is that something you would be feeling willing to share?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we just added after having that conversation was this, which I think I saw Crystal had a question too about adding the buffer for Ron appointments. So instead of having the address in here, what you do is check the online notary. It takes the address box out. Then it will default to, where did that go? Nope. There we go. So inside your profile, now there is that showing up there? Okay, good. Inside your profile, there is now, you put in your address for Ron, Zoom call, consultations, etc. So you put in your address wherever your office is, and then the system will pull from that address instead of the one you put in here. So if you're doing a Ron, somebody can book you right here. They just pick the date, virtual, you do whatever you need, power of attorney. They hit search, same functionality, it works exactly the same. So time frame wise, there's 11:15 to 1:30. Times are different for that. So does that make sense? So functions exactly the same, but instead of pulling the address from one you put in here, it's pulling your home address.
Very cool.
So I don't know if that answers Crystal's question or not. She said, does the system add a buffer between Ron appointments?
No, she says that answers her questions.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. Tavona, did you have a question for Tony?
Yes, I did. I don't know if this is a dumb question or not, but
No such thing.
is this one, is this also like an app system, or is it just because it's just starting out, it's probably not there yet? I got another question, but I just want you to answer that first.
You mean, is it an app?
Yes. Like Notary Assist. Yeah.
No, it's not. You basically just use Chrome or whatever browser you're working with. If you're doing
it's not an app.
Correct.
Okay.
It's not. Yeah, it's not built out as that. So.
Okay.
Secondly, because I have a website as a notary here, can I use it? Or how can I link it, I guess, also to my website? Because a lot of people go on there and they'll just click to, ask me questions or things like that, or try to see if they can book me. But I wanted to make it more accessible to them.
You mean you have like a little chat bubble that people can chat and message back and forth?
Right. But it's on my website.
Right. Yeah, this essentially functions the same way, except that you don't have to chat back and forth. They could just book you right here online. I mean, without even having to call or chat or ask. It shows your availability, right?
Yeah, so
So-
is there a way to link this to my website? That's what I'm trying to just
Oh,
see.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Yeah, there's a, on the backside with the widget,
Uh-huh.
we go to the widget part, and it's relatively simple. You just hit create, you put in your information. You can put
Cool.
whatever text you want in here. So you can have free quote, you can have book now, whatever you want to put. It's very customizable, right? Colors, you can have the colors to match your website. And you just take
Right.
the code right here,
Right.
and it has instructions here. You just put it in the header tag, copy and paste
Okay.
that code into the header tag, and it will show you, it'll bring up the floating bubble. You can
Oh,
also
okay.
use a form if you want a form.
So
So-
cool. Thank you,
Oh, thank you.
Tavona. Those were great questions.
Thank you.
Guys, if you have put a question in the chat, please raise your virtual hand so you can ask Tony. And we are going to, Tony, you're going to hang out with us, right? The rest of the call?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go back to our usual order. Thank you so much, Tony, for sharing this. You're still allowed to ask Tony a question. He's going to hang out with us. So just raise your virtual hand. I just wanted to get back to regular programming, as they say. So, Mark, what were you going to tell us?
Hi, gang. Some of you may know me from some of the other notary forums around town. I'm known as River Point Tax. When the mortgage industry slowed down, I kind of revamped things. I do tax preparation, and my notary business is now evaluated service. To that end, the whole beneficial owner information popped up on our radars as tax professionals back as early as January.
Yeah.
We started looking into this. I mean, tax pros have got all your financial information. It becomes just a value added service that we can immediately get going for you. So in the process of looking at this, we discovered that our E&O insurance carriers are not going to provide us with any coverage should there be an error committed. Most of the E&O policy carriers have said that this is actually acting in the capacity of a lawyer. So I'm recommending that all of my fellow notaries who are interested in carrying on this service check with your E&O carrier to make absolutely certain you're not going to get hung out to dry. $500 a day doesn't take long to eat into a $100,000 policy. So a lot of the tax professionals, CPAs, EAs, tax accountants have just backed away from this thing until we can get some further clarification. This is so new to everybody, including the E&O carriers, that I don't think that they know for sure what this is going to turn out to be like. So it's an opportunity. You should look into it, but contact your E&O policy carrier. I've talked to at least a half a dozen, and every one of them have said, we're not going to provide coverage.
All right. Thank you, Mark, for that.
And
Laura, do you have
so-
anything that you wanted to add to
Please.
that?
Yeah, just please don't get yourself shorthanded, because I don't want to see anybody getting themselves into a financial pickle
Yeah, for
unnecessarily.
sure. I
Okay?
appreciate you sharing that. Laura, did you have anything you wanted to follow up with on that?
No, I think it is a good point that we always want to check out when we try a new service if
Mhm.
there's any insurance type protection for us should and a mistake happen. And
Yeah.
if that's the case for this, then I think you need to start with your own carrier and then move on from there to see if that's going to be covered. Just like the notary E&O that NNA sells is for notarization. But there are other policies out there that
Yes.
are larger that cover many other activities. But if they've identified this activity as, I don't think so, that's what I think his point is. And I think it's well taken. And I think we should use caution on that end to do that and make sure that we're confident and competent about what we're doing when it's on the behalf of somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. Great advice. Thank you, Mark, for bringing
I've-
that up.
I've got a blanket policy that protects both of my businesses, and that's why I started looking into it. I know that most notaries carry an NNA or NSA policy. Make sure that there isn't some form of rider. 2 carriers have said that they are considering adding a separate rider to the policy, but that won't happen until next year. And I have no idea what the premiums are going to be like.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for, and if as you get more information, please keep us posted.
Yeah, I'll pop it up as soon as I get it. Some of you may hear that it was declared unconstitutional, but that only applies to members of the Look at my notes here. The National Small Business Association members. It was a very limited ruling by the courts. There are some other jurisdictions in federal courts where people are using this ruling to try to push this thing all the way up to the Supreme Court to get a final ruling. I hope they get it because this thing's a pain in the butt.
All right. Well,
Okay.
keep us posted on what you're hearing about this, Mark. I appreciate you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for
I'll
sharing
update.
that. And, you know, it's
Wish-
just, oh, sorry, Mark. I didn't mean to mute you.
That's okay. Tony, great thing you got going on there. Wish you the best with it, buddy. And I'll see the rest of you sometime around town.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it. Let's go to iPhone 149. What is your question? First of all, what's your name and what state are you calling from? iPhone 149. I don't have a name there. It just says iPhone 149. There we go.
Oh, that's me. I don't know why it shows up as that. That's weird. My question is for Tony. Now it's $9.99 a month. Is there a sign up fee?
Nope, only if you want to.
Well, no, I don't want to. I don't want to pay any more than I need to. So. All right, cool. Great to know. I'm going to be looking into it. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
there's a 30-day trial because it does take a minute to get set up. As you know, most things in Notary are not simple to set up. They take time. You got to add a bunch of stuff to it. So you get a free 30 days that allows you to get your feet wet and make sure you understand it, you're comfortable with it, and it gets working. So
Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Valdemitra, what's your question?
Not really a question. I just wanted to tell Tony that I really appreciate that calendar. After all those emails, I was able to get it set up perfectly and everything. And it's going to save me so much time having to haggle with some of these people that call me for services. I don't have to deal with that anymore. And I'm really wanted to tell you, I appreciate that calendar.
thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah. Tony's getting the love today. Thanks, Valdemitra. Cheryl, what's your question today? Good to see you. Oh, where'd Cheryl go? Did she get knocked off? Jen
She's
Cooper?
muted.
Oh,
I don't see Cheryl.
there she is. Wait,
There
she
she,
just
oh,
popped
she's
up
gone again.
Cheryl, you're on mute.
Okay,
There.
sorry. I'm in Glendale, California, which is in Los Angeles County. So I have a general notary question and another one about the calendar. So do I need to write each document separately in the journal? This has come up. I mean, I did a lot of loan signings and I know they came up with the modern journal and where you could just check the boxes and it was all in one line. The signer signed that one line and put their thumbprint on that one line. But general notary, you could have several documents. Do I need to put one document on line one on two, one on three, and have them sign all three?
Laura, you're on mute.
So whether it's loan signing or whether it's general doesn't make a difference. It's notarization work. So that's the first thing. I don't want you to think that you treat them different because they're general under the general umbrella versus loan signing. In terms of what you're taught, each one is supposed to be separate. It's what 6-hour classes are going to teach any California notary. In terms of compliance, there is some latitude there. The latitude is this. You have to be able to name the notarial act that connects with every one of those documents, not just the document. So if you had 3 documents that were acknowledgements and another 3 that were charrettes, there you go. You've got to have acknowledgement, 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 charrette, charrette, charrette. In addition, you need to be able to spell out the fee separately for each one of those documents. So if you have 6 documents, you better have 15 times 6 separate times. Those are the ones that must be separated. And if you have a journal that allows you to do that. Integrity Journal is a good example of that. Modern Journal is a little tighter. For a few documents, it's okay. Or you have an electronic journal. Those are the ones that can accommodate clearly that. An NNA journal is not set up to do that. It just really is not.
So how
But
do
that
you
helps you,
do it,
Carol?
Laura? What journal are you using to do that? What do you find most efficient?
So I use an e-journal myself, by Jurat Inc.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
but if
right.
you're on paper, I'd say the Integrity Journal or the, what's Kim Flanagan's Notary Allies. Hers are
Notary
fantastic.
Allies. Mhm.
NotaryAllies.com for paper journal, and then the e-journal I use Jurat Inc.
Jen Cooper, would you put the e-journal link in the chat for us, please? And
Oh, you want me to put you want me to put the other two as well?
thanks. Yes, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I know
Okay,
you're not on
and the
that.
other question I had was back to the this calendar. So one thing that when you answer a live call, you know, you will remind the client that they need valid ID. And I've run into this when I haven't said that on the call, I get there and they have a copy, a photocopy, or it's expired, or there's some problem. How is the calendar going to deal with that?
You want to see? Okay, if I share again.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, okay, good. So if somebody does a search, doing general notary, they're doing estate plan, they go to book it. Down at the bottom, there's a little questionnaire. Will all signers be present in person? Do they have valid unexpired ID? Are they of sound mind and sign voluntarily? So when they hit submit to you, it's going to give you the answers that they answer these. So obviously if they say no, then there's a problem.
Wow, I
So
really like that.
Yeah. So Tony, really quick on that questionnaire, are those static questions or can those be manipulated as well?
they are static, but I can't add to it. So if
Okay.
there's something I'm missing there, if there's something that you need put
Yeah.
in there, then just let me know. I'll add it to it.
That's
Yeah,
so
Tony,
cool.
I don't see, can the signer sign their document unassisted?
Okay.
Because then you got to have a whole procedure around signature by mark in some states like California. And if you don't know that up front and you get there, you got no witnesses, you're not prepared.
Okay. Yeah, I'll add that to it. So
That's why they call her the goat.
That's right.
Does that answer your questions, Cheryl?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Faith in Texas, what's your question for us?
Hi, hello everyone. Tony, every time I look at this, it gets cooler by the minute. This is so cool. My question is, so this page will be placed on my contact page on the website or something like that?
yeah, you can put it just about anywhere you want. You can have it as the floating bubble. Got
What's
one
the
here
flo-
that's just a form, right? You can put it that way.
Okay.
Here's one of the beauties, if I can divert for just a second, is if you do network with others, and you probably saw that there's not just me in here, but I've got others in my list as well. Jody is also there. She's also got me on her site. So now when somebody goes to Google, this is her site. If somebody goes and does the same search, I have twice the odds of getting found now. Because
That's amazing. Yeah.
so if you have 5 or 10 different people in your area, you just increase your odds dramatically. We're both on both sites. So either her site or my site they go to, they're going to see both of us. And they can hire either one of us. She got hired a couple weeks ago off of my site.
Wow.
The guy didn't call nothing. He just went and booked her directly and like, all right.
It's so important that you are networking with other notaries. That's why we talk about the notary events that are happening and keep you guys abreast of all that, because you do need to get out and network with, you can't be everywhere all the time, right? So does that answer your question, Faith?
Okay, so he said it can just be a bubble and they click it. Okay. And
There's
it's gonna
several
close.
different options. It can be a bubble that floats. It could be a form. It depends. There's instructions that come with the purchase of this, and he will guide you. Those instructions will guide you on how you want to get that set up.
Okay, and my issue is sometimes I have problems with syncing my Google Calendar. So does this feed into that, or is this something different, separate?
It's going to sync with your Google Calendar.
Okay.
So it reads off your Google Calendar. So you got to make sure that's set up. It's not really that complicated, but that's the thing where sometimes people get a little bit hung up. but
Yeah.
it's fairly simple. So if you have any problems, give me a call.
Okay, that's
My
good
number's
to
on there.
know.
Or if you want, I mean, this is one thing too. If you want to book with me, if you need help, if you get stuck, if you have any questions, just go in here and check online notary. Find a date that works for you and go do a consultation. Hit search and just book me right here.
Okay,
That'll
cool.
book you a 30-minute consultation with me. Doesn't cost you anything yet.
Love that
Okay.
yet.
So yeah, that's an
Yeah.
option if you want. I've got some there's training videos on YouTube that I just updated.
Okay.
So
Fabulous.
Okay.
there's a
Good.
notarycounter.com. There's a little preview video at the bottom. It's about 24 minutes long. It'll go more in detail into everything. So
Okay,
uh,
great. That's all I need to know. Thank you.
awesome.
Thanks, Faith. All right, Pam, what is your question for us today? For Laura, me, or Tony?
Yeah, Tony, I was wondering on those questions, if they don't fill them out, will they still be able to submit?
Help me
The
understand.
the questions that you were asking, do they have their ID and stuff at the bottom? If they don't answer them, does it still submit?
Oh, I've never tried that. I didn't think anybody wouldn't do that. So
I don't
I'll
know.
have to, I'll have to test that and see. I assume, yeah, all it does is come when you get the email that with the confirmation that gives you a little bit of detail about it, it'll tell you in there what their answers are.
Right,
So I
right.
imagine if they don't answer it, then
It
it
just
probably
won't
won't
be
show.
there.
I'm going to try
Yeah.
that and see, just out of curiosity. I've never tested it.
Thank you.
Look at that. That's a great idea, Pam. Yeah, that's important information to have. Hey, Boo, tell us what your question is this afternoon.
Hi, this is a question for Tony. Maybe I missed this, but when you were showing us how the fees are put in, let's say you don't really have a standard fee, like a mobile fee for me is like a set price to a certain area. And then if I get called to go to like Santa Monica or the Valley here in Los Angeles, I would obviously charge more for the mobile fee because it's a lot further and there's a lot more traffic. So how would you add that without saying additional time, so the client doesn't go, well, what do you mean additional time? It's actually, you know what I mean? So they don't have a way of going through and scrolling and saying, well, why is it this fee for this time of day? Or you know what I'm saying? So that you can change your fee. How can you change that fee without other people seeing it when there's a variation, when you're, I don't know, adding, it's not really an added service, it's really added mobile time. Does that make
So you're
sense?
talking when if it's a certain time for traffic.
Or distance, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the distance part it does, right? Where'd it go? So down here, and this is what you put in, and these are the questions that come up often, so I'll touch them real quick if I can. Max distance is telling the system this is the furthest I'm willing to go for a job. I'll go up to 150 miles if you pay me, right? But if you only want to go 30 miles or 40 miles, then you put that in there. The base travel distance is, this is how far I'm willing to go for my base fee. So in the fee section we looked at earlier, those are your base fees to say, this is how much I charge for a power of attorney. I charge 85 bucks. I leave my house, it's 2 miles, 85 bucks. If I'm going 20 or 30 miles, then it's going to take that. If it's 30 miles, it's going to say the system sees that it's 30 miles, it's going to add 15 miles additional times $2 per mile. So I tell the system, here's my base. Anything above that, I want $2 per mile extra. Does that make sense?
So the system will know depending on the distance, is what you're saying. It'll recalculate. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. So let me
That was
show
a great question, Boo. Thanks for asking that. Oliver from Texas, what's your question this afternoon?
Yes, ma'am. So I am inquiring about like say jurats, right? So you have a signing or something where you have several different jurats. Are you administering the oath like every single time, or is it fine to just administer the oath at one time?
Laura?
Here's what the goat says. The goat says it's for each document. Do you swear or affirm the statements in this document are true, not the entire package? So is somebody going to come after you because you gave one oath for all of the documents? I don't know. It depends on how, what the problem is. But what I can tell you is they'll never be able to come after you if you administer the oath for each act. And
Right.
you're performing a separate jurat on each one of those documents, and each one of those jurats says you gave an oath.
Gotcha.
Does that answer your question, Oliver?
Yes, ma'am. That's what I was thinking. I
All
do it
right.
sometimes. Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all.
Thank you. That was a great refresher for all of us. So we are about to wrap up. I want to thank Tony so much for taking the time today to be a part of this call and sharing his amazing product. Like I said, if you are subscribed in any way to Notary Coach, tomorrow you will be getting an email about his service with his special opening monthly subscription fee of $9.99. So, and that is definitely something that you want to take advantage of if you are interested in this, because you can see how cool this product is. And if you think it's cool, so is every other notary out there, right? So I've been dying to get this out to you guys. Tony, thank you so much for hanging out with us this afternoon.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Thank you. I'm glad. And I wanted to remind you guys too, because I never take the time to say this anymore. We're always busy with other things. But if you are a brand new notary, if you are at the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey, I would love to work with you. I want you to go visit marketingfornotaries.com. I have a 5-point marketing system that I teach you on how you can build your reputation, your know, like, and trust factor in your community and be the most favoritist, the most popular notary in town. Go check that out and learn the 5-point marketing system. Laura, do you have any last minute words of wisdom for us today?
Not particularly. Just enjoy the day. It's a beautiful day where I'm at here in California. And yeah, guys, have a productive week. Till we see you next time.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. We will see you next week. Same time, same place. And remember, if you have a question that you would like to submit to us in writing, please feel free to go to notarycoach.com/TNT and enter it on the question form. And who knows, maybe we will read your question live next week. See you guys soon. Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.